بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين وأفضل الصلاة وأتم التسليم على سيدنا ومولانا وحبيبنا وشفيعنا محمد. This is lesson 1b of the evolution of the Islamic sciences. In continuing the discussion on the spiritual and intellectual approach to the Quran, we delivered a longer, more detailed lesson in covering the history of tafsir compilation and its sub-genres, which we will release in due time, inshaAllah ta'ala. For now, however, the main lesson to take from a historical survey of the field of tafsir is that evolution is the natural pattern of Islamic scholarship, and particularly with regard to tafsir, because of the fact that all knowledge emanates from it. The Quran is like the sun. All rays of light, all forms of knowledge find their source in it. And that is why, among the final signs of the Day of Judgment, is the rising of the sun from the west instead of the east, symbolic of the complete reversal of the true reality, prompting the end of the temporal world and the beginning of the everlasting world. There are two modes of scholarly evolution. One is an external process in which scholars reflect each other's brilliance and thereby build an intellectual legacy, and an internal process in which scholars absorb the content of their surroundings and reproject its reality through the Quranic lens to produce a mirror that guides humanity out of the darknesses of their temporal existence. This builds a spiritual legacy, and it is the legacy of the Sufi masters. God says in Surah Al-An'am, verse 153, وَأَنَّ هَذَا صِرَاطِي مُسْتَقِيمًا فَاتَّبِعُوهُ وَلَا تَتَّبِعُوا السُّبُلَ فَتَفَرَّقَ بِكُمْ عَنْ سَبِيلِهِ ذَلِكُمْ وَصَّاكُمْ بِهِ لَعَلَّكُمْ تَتَّقُونَ. Meaning, indeed this is my path, perfectly straight, so follow it, and do not follow other ways, for they will lead you away from His way. This is what He has commanded you, so perhaps you will be conscious of God. What we derive from this verse is that the straight path is one, while the paths of misguidance are many. If we delve deeper, what we will also see is that the straight path is unified, while misguidance is scattered. Moreover, if we continue to extract meaning, we will see that the straight path is integrated, both external and internal, both intellectually and spiritually, and that the paths of misguidance are multiple because of their dissonance and divergence. In simple terms, external knowledge alone is misguidance, and the one and only path of truth integrates the spiritual and intellectual. This was the characteristic of the Salaf, that is, the pious period, and it is upon this maxim that the first principle of metafiqh is derived, namely, the original integration of the Islamic sciences, intellectually and spiritually, in the formative period. This principle is important to understand, as it puts into perspective how we are to approach sacred knowledge today in such a way that is true to the pious predecessors and in keeping with the legacy of the subsequent generations. The Tarbawi tafsir is unique in its spiritual and intellectual approach to the Quran. It is a harnessing of the Quranic essence into a form that is meant to be a guidance that penetrates through the layers of confusion that plague our ummah in the modern world. However, it is also distinguished from the classical Sufic subgenres of tafsir, which is what we will discuss further.